Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles, and on this episode, we're going to talk about what could have been with Adam Cole. Now unfortunately, Adam Cole, he's a wrestler I'm a huge fan of and have been for a very long time, ever since his very beginnings way back in the CZW days. Sadly, Adam Cole has ran into some injury issues that pretty much have ended his career. And there's a recent, at the time of this recording, there's a recent interview with Tony Khan who pretty much said so much without saying it straight out. But I want to kind of go back and I want to talk about what could have been. And this is not to throw shade on AEW. I think his injuries derailed his AEW run because I don't think if he was injured, he probably would have still had the same trajectory in AEW. But I'm going to go back and keep him in WWE and see where I think he could have been something extremely special. He was extremely special. Now, we all remember the NXT Black and Gold era, which was pretty much dominated by the Undisputed era. You had the likes of Adam Cole back then, Shinsuke Nakamura, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, all of these tremendous wrestlers going through. And Adam Cole was one of the really big standouts of that time. And this was coming off of a long, successful career in Ring of Honor, as well as New Japan. He did a little work over there. Adam Cole, to me, is one of the most can't-miss prospects in the history of pro wrestling. I guarantee if you go back and you watch some of my old videos from 2014, 15, 16, all those years, you'll hear me gush about how Adam Cole is the next big thing. No pun intended for Brock Lesnar. But in my opinion, I always thought from the earliest I seen Adam Cole, I thought he could become this generation's Shawn Michaels. And he had the ring talent, he had the cockiness, he had the swagger, he had that connectability that few wrestlers had. It's like he said in that famous promo with Karrion Kross, and I'm paraphrasing this isn't exact, they give you the smoke and the entrance and the girls. Do you know what they do to make Adam Cole special? They hit the ring bell. And that's the truth. He didn't do anything groundbreaking. None of his moves were anything he invented. He did super kicks. He did the Panama Sunrise, which was basically a Canadian destroyer. It was the way he did it and the swagger he had about him and the it factor that just resonated through him. As great as a human being as Adam Cole seems to be in real life, which he really does, and I met him once, he was very nice to me. He had that capability to come off very smarmy. And the only person I could compare him to is Shawn Michaels. He is more Shawn Michaels than anyone else that I've ever seen. And that is a big compliment. Now, was he a direct one-in-one ripoff? No. But he had a lot of those same traits where he would put on the best match of the night. Shawn Michaels will tell you he didn't innovate any of the moves he did. However, he had some of the greatest matches in wrestling history. Same with Adam Cole. Adam Cole had some of the best matches of Ring of Honor history, in NXT history. So when I think about that guy, 2019 Adam Cole, I think of how big the world was open for him and how he could have had anything. He could have been a multiple-time WrestleMania main eventer, could have been even huger in AEW. Again, this is not a knock on AEW. I don't think that they derailed his career. I think the injuries have nothing to do with how he's been booked there. Just putting that out there. I don't want you to come at this as a negative towards AEW video, because it's not. This is someone that was a huge fan and still is a huge fan of Adam Cole, lamenting on what he could have been. The first thing I want to talk about, he leaves the WWE in September of 2020, and he goes to AEW. His friends are there, the Young Bucks. His girlfriend at the time, Britt Baker's there. It seems like it's a great decision. He comes in with Bryan Danielson. There's shock surprises. CM Punk just arrived on the scene. AEW's riding high. What if he stayed in WWE? What if he re-signed? Now, we all heard the stories that Vince McMahon wanted him to be Keith Lee's manager. And based off the injuries he had, I don't think that would have been a horrible career trajectory. I think Adam Cole as a manager would be great. I don't think that that's his upper tier that he could be. I've heard, especially just watching the Raven documentary, when Vince sees you one way, he's only going to see you that way. And it's going to be very hard for him to break that up. But I do want to mention, September of 2021, July of 2020, these are important dates. July of 2022 is when Vince McMahon first loses power and Triple H takes over. Now, what do we know about Triple H? In the Black and Gold era that Triple H basically created, he loved Adam Cole. He looked at Adam Cole probably the same way that I do and thought of him like he thinks of one of his best friends, Shawn Michaels. He thought of him as that same upper tier, kind of a smaller guy, but doesn't really matter because he delivers. So if he could have maybe stuck out that almost year of probably being a lower card, middle card guy, maybe an Intercontinental Champion run. Kind of similar to what we've seen LA Knight go through before Triple H took over, or kind of the last couple of years for Carmelo Hayes where he's not really got his footing in the main roster. I think if he could have stuck that out, once Triple H took over, his biggest project would have probably been, how do we get Adam Cole back to being this generation's Heartbreak Kid? How do we get him? And love or hate Triple H's booking, he has found a way with long-term storytelling to make stories work. Cody chasing the title, the Bloodline story, CM Punk and Drew McIntyre's feud. So I do think he would have been able to do that. Maybe he brings up the Undisputed Era, puts them on the main roster, and they're his Four Horsemen, his evolution, whatever you want to call it for this generation. His group that takes over after the Bloodline kind of fizzles out a bit, which we kind of see now. Or maybe they just do their own thing adjacent to the Bloodline. Maybe instead of Cody Rhodes, Adam Cole's the one that takes the belt off of a face-turned Roman Reigns. The sky's the limit for him, and this is why I kind of wanted to make this video, because as great as Adam Cole's career has been, and he has had a great career, if he never steps in the ring again, he had an awesome career. But it could have been even greater. I think Adam Cole, and I've said this a million times in this video, and you're probably thinking I'm an idiot, stop saying that, moron, you told us this already. Adam Cole would have been the 2020s Heartbreak Kid. That's how I see it. If there were no injuries, and he was under Triple H's booking, we'd probably talk about him highlighting WrestleMania 42 right now, maybe against CM Punk, maybe against Cody Rhodes, maybe against Roman Reigns, whoever it may be. That is what we'd be talking about right now, in my opinion. So kind of what I wanted to talk about here, especially with basically them saying it's the end of his career without full out saying it's the end of his career. So hopefully, for selfish reasons, I want to see him come back and wrestle. For even more selfish reasons, I don't want to see him come back if it's any danger to his health, because like I said, I met the man once and he was extremely nice to me, and I kind of always thought about that. It was at one of Ring of Honor's biggest shows, a Supercard of Honor, the night before the Hardy Boys returned to WWE when they were in the main event against the Young Bucks. I think that was WrestleMania 33. I went to both. But anyway, I digress. And there were thousands of fans there. I mean, there were probably 5,000 people there, and he had a line of a couple hundred people. And this is how nice that Adam Cole was. I got up to the line. He did his autograph. He talked to me for about a minute or two. My friend Sean took a picture of us with my phone. We start walking away, and I look at it, and the picture didn't take. And I was sad, and I was upset. And I said, well, let me just walk back over there and ask. I said, hey, Adam, this picture didn't take. My friend just took it. Can we do this again? He said, absolutely. Let me finish this up and I'll get you another picture. Not many wrestlers would do that. I mean, there are a lot that would, but just that little act of kindness to me, someone he doesn't know at all, when he has a line of probably a couple hundred people that he needs to sign autographs for, but he wanted to make sure that this one fan got the picture. And I'll probably throw it up here so you guys can actually see the picture I'm talking about. I'm not vain like that normally, but just to show you how cool Adam Cole was. Kind of why I wanted to do this. Kind of my way of paying respects to the man that I think could have been even huger than he was and could have been one of the all-timers. I hope we haven't seen the last of him if he's healthy enough to go. But if we have, thank you for everything, Adam Cole. That's kind of what this video is about, really. With all that being said, my name is George Coles, and you've been watching Heel Heat.